I've already announced in India, young women who are capable of childbearing chose not to do it, we will institute an award for them. A fundamental force in human society is hormone. We are born here, I want you to understand this, you and me are sitting here because somebody got horny, all right? Hello? Oh, you're not supposed to say this, no, they fell in love with… Leave it. Somebody got horny. Everybody's, by the time 15, 16, they're consuming alcohol, where their judgment goes away. All right, you are encouraging alcohol, you are encouraging titillation, all kinds of titillation through the movies, pornography is like all over the place, and the guy is supposed to be like this.
And you should grow beyond it. And in your answer about rape, you said, oh, humans have this
I know what I have said,
hormonal
please.
urge and we are
I
not…
know what I have
no
said, why don't you just ask the question?
So the question
I
is…
know what I have said.
For a woman who chooses not to be a mother, who doesn't want…
Oh, I'll give you award.
So she has chosen you as an advocate for her case, and you have to fight her case. So what are the arguments?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
So there's a woman…
Yeah, she
who
doesn't want to have a child.
be a mother, and she's chosen you as an advocate for her case, and you have to fight her case. So what are the arguments that you would give for a woman who doesn't want to bear a child?
I said she needs to be awarded. I've already announced in India, young women who are capable of childbearing chose not to do it, we will institute an award for them. Because right now the greatest service you can do in the world is, you are not extra-populating this planet, okay? If… suppose you were a tiger woman, I mean to say a female tiger, then I would have encouraged you, please breed, please breed. Because it's an endangered species. Well, you know, see, we are not endangered. Wherever you go, there is a crowd. Well, to protect a nation, you have to build a wall, otherwise people are coming. Obviously, there's too much obviously, there is too much population everywhere, isn't it? So, this is something we need to look at in a very fundamental way. This is happening because the need is inbuilt. The reproductive need is a very inbuilt need. Whatever arguments they have at one point, the body dictates. Fortunately, there's a lot of pain and stuff involved, otherwise I don't know what would have happened. So, this need, if one has to transcend, instead of forcefully putting it down, if your identity naturally shifts beyond your biological self, you will see these needs will completely disappear. Right now, I want people to understand, what you're looking for is not a child. What you're looking for is involvement. Right now, your problem is, you simply cannot involve with people unless they came out of your body. Your identity of biology is so strong, you can't simply include these people as yours. Oh, this one came from my body, this is mine. This is because you're trapped in your own biology, that's all it is. Today, I must tell you, in the Yesha Foundation, there are hundreds of couples who have all chosen not to have children. I said, you want involvement, you want children, I'll give you 100. Why one? You take care of them. Why should it fall out of your body? Not necessary. Human being has the ability, this is an animal instinct. This instinct is needed for the survival of the race, of course. But now, the survival of the race depends on consciously controlling the population a little bit. From the beginning of 20th century, in 1910, our population was just 1.58 billion, let's say 1.6 billion. Today we are 7.6 billion. By 2050, they're estimating we will be 10.3 billion. When it's 10.3 billion, I don't want to be around. Hello? I want you to just imagine another 50% rise in the world's population, you can imagine what all problems you will face. We are ensuring that our children cannot live well on this planet by producing more children. It's very, very important. We must understand why this has happened is not just because of unbridled reproduction, no, that is not true, it's controlled. It is simply because our life expectancy is extending itself, it's fantastic. For example, in India, when the British left India, our life expectancy was 28 years. How many of you are over 25? 28, I'm sorry. So you're all dead. That's what it meant, I want you to understand, 28 years. Today it has reached 70, which is a phenomenal achievement in 70 years of independence. So, when we take death into our hands, should we not take birth into our hands? I'm not propounding any philosophy, I'm just talking simple arithmetic. Hello? When we take death into our hands, should we not take birth into our hands? If we don't do that, if we do not consciously contain our population, nature will do it to us in a very cruel way. You want to wait for that day? You can. But being human beings, it'll be nice if we do it consciously, isn't it?
Go for it. Should I go for it? I personally feel, Sadhguru, that there's this phenomenon of castration anxiety in India.
I'm sorry?
Castration anxiety, something related to male ego. We see that this male ego has…
Where, in Harvard University? They've been castrated?
It's kind of everywhere. It's kind of everywhere. So, this male ego has been somewhere, hidden behind the rapes that happen, the sexual harassment that happens, a lot of gender disparity. I wouldn't say this is the only reason, but it's somewhere hidden behind, and we never address it up front. And all of these acts are acts of shame, but there is a sense of pride associated with it. How can we change the sense of pride to a sense of shame?
See, in the question there is a contradiction. If there is a castration syndrome, there shouldn't be rapes. There are rapes means they're not been castrated, obviously, yes? So, we need to understand this. There are many aspects to rape. This is a dangerous subject to tread into because half the population could turn against you on the planet. And as you say, in the other half also they'll turn against you because nobody wants to look at it as it is. Everybody is trying to make this into a social cause. This is not a social cause. This is a very fundamental thing. Why is this happening? We need to look at it in a more fundamental way. One thing is you need to understand, human hormonal activity is real. It is not manufactured in your laboratory. It is not manufactured in your mind. It is real, it's in the body. So when does it start? Starts 13, 14 years of age and picks up momentum. Probably it hits its peaks between 18, 25. But so life was structured in a certain way to address this issue. But today we got modern. What modern means is totally messed up in your head. You don't look at life as it is. You make up a unreal reality in your mind and you think that is what should happen. Now we have an education system where generally by the time you're competent enough to get into life, you're like 25. So today, maybe you have a lot of relationships going in the university, but that's not the case everywhere. So the peak hormonal activity, there is no outlet, all right? There's no any kind of outlet. Well, girls were getting married 15, 16 years of age, boys were getting married 17, 18, before 20. So it was addressed, even if it was not physically addressed, it was emotionally addressed. That by the time you're 12, they're telling you, see, this is going to be your wife, this is going to be your husband. Emotionally, it was addressed, so they did not look here and there. So now, can we go back to that system? Not at all, it's not possible to go back there. What is the new system? At least we must debate, isn't it? If you leave it loose like that, a fundamental force in human society is hormone. We are born here, I want you to understand this, you and me are sitting here because somebody got horny, all right? Hello? Oh, you're not supposed to say this. No, they fell in love with each other. Leave it. Somebody got horny. All right. That is why you and me are here, so it can't be wrong. You and me are here because of that. Only thing is, how a human society can conduct this dimension in a graceful and aesthetically sensible way. That's all we're looking at, right? We are not talking about against sexuality, we are talking about how to conduct it in a graceful manner. To conduct it in a graceful manner, there must be addressing human issue as a human issue. This is not a social issue. This is not for sociologists to discuss. This is happening in the body. How do we make a conducive situation for people? This debate has to come. Simply putting it under the carpet and thinking something else and calling somebody a rapist, in the national media people are talking, we must castrate this boy, we must do this, what's happened to us? This is not the way. I'm not trying to approve rape, but I'm saying it is a genuine issue. It is not something somebody socially deviant is doing it. It is just that you're trying to suppress a basic energy within the human being, this will happen. Otherwise, will you put them on some sadhana where they will become like monks and be perfectly fine within themselves? You have not done anything like that in the society. There is no discipline of any kind. Everybody's, by the time 15, 16, they're consuming alcohol, where their judgment goes away. All right, you are encouraging alcohol, you are encouraging titillation, all kinds of titillation through the movies, pornography is like all over the place, and the guy is supposed to be like this. It's not going to work. 2 drops of alcohol, the guy loses his judgment and does stupid things. Is it right, wrong? That's not the way to look at it. Are we brave enough to address human issues as human issues and try to find solution? Is there an absolute solution? No. There's no absolute solution, but we can create a society where these things are minimal, right? There always is crime in every society, always has been. The question is how rampant. Isn't that the only question? Only a fool will think we'll create a society without crime. It doesn't happen like that. It is just that how minimal can we make it?
Sorry, go ahead.
Please, wait for the microphone, please. Hello, please wait for the microphone.
Could
If
someone
everybody
hand him
goes off like that.
Could someone hand him a microphone, please?
So I have a question for you, and
Sorry,
thank you so much.
one moment, ma'am, 1 moment.
Okay.
The gentleman.
Sadhguru, your thoughts, I would say, or I could say your answers about the questions on pregnancy, or whether… your thoughts on like what it means for women to bear children or not bear children and the choice thereof, was a beautiful answer. I could
Please,
relate to everything
just come
that
to
you're
the
saying.
question, time is very…
The context is slightly necessary, I'll keep it short. And your answer about rapes and increasing cases of rapes, or them being sort of a social crime, but also there's an association of pride, etc., that was a question. And both the answers in and of themselves were honest answers, but together…
Hari, this is not a commentary, just come to the question.
But together, is it possible that there was, in your 2 answers, perhaps unconscious bias or double standard? Because in the answer to pregnancy, you said, oh, it is just your primal instinct, your biological need for an identity to care about a certain person, you should grow beyond it. And in your answer about rape, you said, oh, humans have this
I know what I have said,
hormonal
please.
urge, and we are
I
not…
know what
there
I
is
have
no
said,
out-
why don't you just ask the question?
So the question
I
is,
know what I have said.
is it
Just come to the question.
Is it possible that in these 2 answers there is perhaps a subconscious bias, or am I reading it wrong? Those 2 answers to me seem like,
All right.
oh, this is biological, let it go. Oh, this is biological, it won't go.
I think you've made your point, so let's hear
please.
the answer.
Oh. Let's understand this. The hormonal impact on human biology is such, it subjugates one's intellect, subjugates one's knowledge, subjugates social order, and acts beyond that. Is that the way to create a society? No. The whole idea of creating a society is that all these things will fall into a more graceful slots so that they will function smoothly to everybody's benefit, not against anybody. That's the whole idea of trying to bring a civilization to a society is just that, that's the effort. Have we ever, in these whatever thousands of years, have we ever succeeded 100% in this effort? Have we? No. At certain times, these things have been well handled, at certain times they've been badly handled. Only thing we can do is, how well can we handle it in our time? That's all there is in our hands. You're thinking of these things as some sort of absolutes. These are not absolutes. Don't think there is a man who is a rapist and there's a man who is no rapist. It's not like that. It's just that when he goes out of control, he will do ugly things. When he's in control, he behaves well. When he's in love, he behaves well. When he is joyful, he behaves well. When he gets frustrated, he behaves horribly. This is the nature of the human being. If you think it needs my endorsement or not, then you're living in some la-la land. This is the nature of the human being. Are we going to create a system where there is going to be minimum friction among people is the continuous challenge for every generation. Yes? It is a continuous challenge for every generation. No generation has ever arrived at one perfect system that it worked absolutely for everybody. Always somebody was exploited. If you don't know the reality of the existence and you're living in some other psychological state of absoluteness, then that's not the point. But pregnancy is a choice. And especially now it's I wouldn't have said it's a choice 100 years ago, because it just happened. Just the hormonal thing happened. But pregnancy is a choice. Even if you're sexually involved, still you don't have to get pregnant, that is possible only for this generation. If you do not understand the impact of that, that is the biggest thing that's happened. For women, that's the biggest thing that's happened. That is, there is birth control, that one can exercise their choice whether I want to go into it or not go into it. So, that is of a different kind, this is of a different kind. That's why I said, if you want to bring both of them in one category, you come to me, I will initiate you into brahmacharya, I'll give you sadhana, you do that, both will be by choice.